We joined EXP in 2019, and it was the best decision that we made that year. If you have questions on what it's like to be at this brokerage, reach out to us. Happy to chat. Let's get to the content. Welcome to the Solution of Real Estate podcast, where Phil Sexton and
Jeff Seabach
get together around the glass table with a couple of microphones in between us to discuss ways that we can be, should be, as an industry, putting the consumer first.
Consumer first is the key and operative word.
And today's topic is solving the problem of more agents than listed houses.
Yes.
And as we're about to dive into this topic, I just want to let all of our podcast listeners know that we actually record this podcast with a live studio audience. And that live studio audience right now, we have on Zoom. They're here. We're going to interact with them. Hopefully somebody out there takes the opposing side of what we're talking about. Otherwise, you and I are just going to have opposing sides.
Well,
and
I would think though, maybe even our brokerage would have an opposing side, possibly to
No
our
question.
opinion, because
no question.
But
if you are listening to this and you think, well, how do I be a part of the live studio audience? Then you would go to realestateleopard.com.
Right.
And at the bottom of realestateleopard.com, Lena, our marketing manager, put down this subscription button where you type in your cell phone number, and then you get a text message
every time,
like 15 minutes before it starts, to say, hey, don't forget to add this to your calendar so that, like Ilena, you'll be here when we get the party started.
Awesome.
All right, Jeff,
awesome.
Thanks for letting me take care of the housekeeping.
Yes.
So today, you love the fact that there's lots and lots and lots of agents, and that the agent count is growing, and that the competition is getting crazy high. You feel like we should get to 2 million or 5 million agents, and that, wait.
Yeah, the
Are you on
complete
the other
opposite.
side?
Yeah,
Oh,
I'm
you're on the other
side.
side of
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
You're on
Well,
the other side.
And the thing is don't get me wrong, I've competed every day being an agent. I'm just shocked that our industry is anti saying that someone's who's a competitor and who is not. And that here's the thing is it started in, actually, to me, in 2013, when I started to go to listing appointments, and I would compete against 7, 8, 9, 10 agents, because the industry does not try to point out who they try and have everybody equal, even though their performance is unequal. And that in other industries, I don't always see that, like when I look at sports, they don't say all baseball players are the same, all pitchers are the same, right? No, they say this is their ERA, this is who struck out a lot of people, this is who got a lot of hits, and that because of that, we can
the ones that have bad stats don't get to play.
Right, but here we just
you want like a FICO score for agents.
Well, that's not where we're at. We're just talking about, I want to just discuss with the audience, is it an issue? Do they see it as an issue, right?
All right, so let's frame it up with like numbers. Okay. So we're talking about, you want to go national first?
Yeah. So I posted on Agent Truth, if you want to see the blog, and it said, because there's a stats from the NAR, that in 2013, there was 1,042,000 agents, roughly.
All right.
Okay.
Just over 1 million.
Right.
agents.
And then that year we sold a little over 5.5 million homes.
Okay. So one agent for every 5 houses sold.
Right.
Okay.
So then now in 2020 to 2020, we now have 1,451,000 realtors. And last year we sold 6 million homes. So we added an agent per house sold.
Wow. Yes.
Right. When you hear it like that, like for every, but the problem is that supply is deteriorating. So now you have more agents, 1.4 million agents, and only 1.1 million homes. And I'm just kind of saying, like, is that who's benefiting from this inequity? Because it's clearly an inequity, because is it the goal just to have everybody sells their own house? Like, then we can just call it a driver's license, and then there would be like but the challenge is it's the most expensive asset of 95% of the people we work for, and that someone needs to protect their financial interest. And I think that the rule should be, to me, there should be more of a training program to get people up and running, meaning a year or two apprenticeship program that is entailed for anyone that, if you want to sell a house, and then if you go out and you don't sell a house for a year, then you gotta go through 12 back to get back in. It's not a hop in, hop out type career that we have now, because in our state we have 50,000 agents and only 4,000 homes listed. Did I say that again? We have 50,000 agents and only 4,000 homes listed. Somebody needs to say that.
I like, actually, that's a good point, is that in the national, I like comparing the national numbers to the local numbers, because it actually, I don't know about you, but when I'm looking at the numbers this way, I feel like, hey, we do pretty good because of the high competition marketplace that we're in.
No, but this is it, is people don't see that the other realtors are their competitors.
So nationally, there's 1.1 million homes for sale,
yes,
and 1.4 million realtors.
Right.
So there's more realtors than there are homes for sale.
But we keep printing realtors.
Wait a minute. And so then nationally, we have 106,000 brokerage offices.
106,000.
Right.
Yes.
So for every brokerage office nationally, there's 10 listings.
Yes.
Okay. So now let's take it to Maricopa County, which is where we sell houses.
Okay.
We have 50,000 agents in Maricopa County, and we have 4,000 listings.
And 5,611, I think, brokerage offices.
So for every 5,600 brokerage offices, so we have more brokerage offices than listings in our marketplace.
It's why I think the system is broken. Clearly, the brokers are not managing the current system. Why?
So the apprenticeship program that we're talking about, you think that would solve people wanting to get their real estate license that weren't in it for real?
Yes. I mean, I think,
and that would reduce the number of agents, because really your mind, I mean, your comment before this was, what's the goal here? Are we trying to get to 4 million realtors? Are we trying to get to 6 million realtors? Like, at what point do we draw the line to say, we probably are good?
Yeah, no, I thought we were good.
At 1 million realtors.
I thought we were good at that. Thought that was still 500,000 too many, right? But
isn't it crazy to think, though, that nationally they would have to have 10 times as many agents as listings for them to be in the same ratio as us here in Maricopa County? That means we'd have to have 10 million listings for the 1 million realtors. That's crazy. But that's what we live. That's the marketplace that we live in. Maybe that's why we're so hyper about more agents, because there's a ton of agents here.
Well, the question is clearly the danger report came out in 2015, and the danger report said that the challenge was they weren't improved, like the quality of the agents, because if you're just trying to print new agents, it's hard to raise the level of training, because then I don't get it. So let's talk to the audience, see what they think. So,
all right, who out there wants to unmute your microphone and join the conversation? While I'm watching to see who's unmuting themselves, I want to say that, Jeff, the reason why there's so many agents is because the entire system is built on dues and subscription fees from us.
So does the consumer benefit from that?
Happy Thursday, guys.
Happy Thursday, Nina.
Nina, how are you?
I don't know that the consumer does benefit from that.
What's your thoughts, Nina?
You know what? I wanted to show myself, but it's just showing San Francisco. I was going to try to take the thing off, but
well, you got the microphone. Oh,
yeah, I got the microphone going. So no, this is a fascinating conversation. I've been in the business now, got my license 3 years ago, and I talk about this. So, who's benefiting most from this are the states, because the more licenses, the more money that they receive. And so, I've always said that I feel like they're doing the consumer an injustice, right? Because, if you can breathe, pretty much, you can get your license.
I don't even think you have to breathe.
There's some people 6 feet under that are practicing real estate. So
as long as they keep paying the bill, Nina, we're good, right? Like, it's on auto pay.
Actually,
right now, auto pay.
It's cheaper for all of us if the guy 6 feet under keeps his real estate license.
Yes.
Right? He doesn't cause any problems.
So no, I agree. I think one of the things I thought of, and even though I've only had my license for 3 years, I'm an experienced investor and flipper, and my background's architecture. So I mean, I came into the business already knowing, some things, but no, I love the idea of having some type of an internship, or, okay, here's your license, but you need to, you need to have X amount of transactions within 24 months, or you're out, or, you have to have a degree. I mean, I don't know. There just has to be better vetting so that we don't have, because what's going to happen?
Well, here's the thing is that I know it's not going to come from the brokerages because they don't make enough money. I listened to Rob Hahn's podcast and he was just talking about how the broker model is not profitable. I think it's going to have to be through the recognition of teams, and then the teams will do help push the training.
Yeah. No, I got the solution, Jeff.
Okay.
You ready?
Uh-huh.
It's going to be from MLS. Okay. We need a new MLS option. And that
you mean new software? I agree. We need new MLS software.
No, okay, I need it. Do you think that there should be a caveat, a co-list, a buyer broker commission caveat, where if you have gone through the apprenticeship program, or if you've done the level of transactions that Nina is talking about doing, then your co-broke offering is this. And if you haven't, then your co-broke offering is smaller than this. What?
Well,
Because wait, let me do one more point while you're thinking about it. Because I got to do more work when the agent on the other side doesn't have any experience.
It's wearing us out. Like that's where I'm at.
But yet they get the same number. They get from an agent that has full blown experience that takes care of their client.
I think that the lawsuit is going to win because of that. Because it's clear that the same, whether you've done one transaction or 2,000, you get paid the same on a deal. And there's no other career in the world where you get paid without performance like you do in real estate. Like, so it's almost like fantasy land.
We can't be living in fantasy land. What do you think of that, Nina? Well, do you think that the co-broke offering, like, would you, so it's funny because she comes
in. There's a lot of problems with what you said.
Of course there are. Okay. There's none with what you said.
Well, you know what? That's actually that is very fascinating, Phil. I think that's a great idea because you know what? That means they have to hustle, right? I mean, if you're, let's just say
what it means, let's be real. Here's what it means is they're going to go find somebody that has experience to be the agent that they're an apprentice.
Well, here's the thing is the way that you fix it, Phil, more apt to the system that we have is you just stop paying buyer fees and let them negotiate for themselves, and then it will auto fix itself.
Oh, I guess like what I go back to is the Australian model.
Well, look at like
no co-broke offers. So if there's no co-broke offering, right, which is actually not possible. That's the crazy part. Isn't that crazy that you can't have zero in our system as a co-broke? It's a minimum. It has to be at least $1. It can't be zero, which I find interesting. But anyway, you're saying if it could be zero, or if it was gone and there was no more offer of compensation for the other party, then there would be fewer agents.
Yeah, I think
because it wasn't guaranteed pay for fog and a mirror.
Well, here's why is because the listings usually go to the inexperienced agents or the more experienced agents.
The listings typically go with the more experienced agents.
Right.
Like it's harder to get a listing.
Right. It's hard. But why is it harder to get a listing?
Because why is it harder to get a listing? Because you have to negotiate for yourself.
Yes. Yeah. Because you have to negotiate for yourself and justify
your value.
Why that you can do this versus somebody else, but that doesn't happen on the buyer side.
Right.
They don't. I mean, up until was it April 30th or May 31st, agents are free to buy and sell houses. Now that will go away.
Yeah.
But to me, I think that it would help. I mean, it all goes together. It's really weird.
Yeah. I think one of the reasons Nina got her license is because she was doing so many transactions and she saw the commission.
Okay, so the question I have for Nina is how many transactions? That's what I really would like to know from her story. Like how many transactions in year one and then year two in total till you're out of the apprenticeship program? Because we're introducing an apprenticeship program sometime in the future. Nina, what do you think is fair?
You know what I think is fair, and I've done quite a few in the time that I've had my license. I think a solid 12.
A solid
I
12
think a solid 12. I mean, I know that
in
I mean,
in what time frame?
in 12 months.
12.
I mean, I think, oh, okay, maybe that sounds like a lot because that's
It's not, no. I am 12 in the first year of the apprentice program I think it's in the second year, it should be 18 and then
Right.
you graduate. Yes.
So
Now
basically
we're
it's
talking
1 a month.
30.
Right.
Right.
No,
Well, I mean, go ahead.
and I started, no, I'm sorry. I was going to say I started off, I mean, I'm still an independent agent with my brokerage, but I questioned every day for a long time if I should have joined a team because, you know what, I would have gotten that one-on-one, you know, just the one-on-one coaching.
How many deals do you do a year now, Nina?
It's hit or, you know what, total I've done 24, if I'm not mistaken, in the 3 years. So, you know what, 1 year, 2018 was great. 2019 wasn't so great. 2020 was great. So I'm not super consistent.
All good. The reason why I was asking, because it was interesting that your comment right before that, you totally dismissed joining a team at this point of your career. When you said that you were thinking you may have joined a team in the beginning.
Okay,
Like,
but
I would
here's
argue-
why though, I think, because she's not aware of any training that's out there because all of the training that's in the system is to help people get from 1 to 10. I've said this, you've
I've
heard
heard
me
it.
say it many, but it's true because that's where you're a hero. No, when the average deal is 2.
Because there's a million listings and a million realtors.
Right. So if you do 10 in a year, you're great at this.
Yeah.
When to me, you should have done 500 to be great, not 10. So we should be training people on how to get great at the sport. But the problem is that the training doesn't exist.
All right, James, James, Deborah, and Eilina, we're coming to you next. I'm going to watch for the unmute button. How many transactions in the first year do you think an apprenticeship program should require? Or maybe there's other metrics besides transactions. Deborah, what do you think?
Oh, I'm thinking because there's a lot of, I love the brainstorming, and I do kind of think there are other metrics other than just transactions, because we could have new agents out there doing 12 transactions a year, but in my opinion, that doesn't give them all the experience they need. That doesn't make them an expert agent.
I agree.
No kidding.
Yeah.
And I think that may make them in their head an expert agent, but in reality, there's a lot of other training and things that go into being an excellent agent for the consumer.
I'm sorry, Deborah. I gotta just say that your comment of they may think that they're an expert agent when they do 12 transactions a year, I'm gonna back that down, and I'm gonna say that people who watch the Millionaire Listing on Bravo that don't have their real estate license think they're an expert realtor.
I think people that just been through the licensing course and bought 4 houses that they're an expert.
People that sold a house 15 years ago think that they're an expert of the real estate transaction.
Well, it's so close because everybody can own it, but the problem is that it's the amount of dollars.
I think I've heard Jeff and Deborah, thank you. I'm going to keep going back. One of the other metrics that we've talked about is maybe number of previews.
Houses.
Oh, yeah, I think, yeah. And previews is good. Because you got to know houses. You got to know houses.
Like, okay, so like, for instance, how many houses do you think that you go in
a month,
a
week, or whatever?
Oh gosh, you know what? I don't count, but I go, as soon as something comes up new in my search areas, I have various search areas that I have going. So I go look at them. So
atta girl.
Do you have, just curious, because as we're working on our Digs, which is a tech app that we're rolling out, are those search areas for like buyer specific, or are those your farm specific?
Both. Like some are for buyers and some are for upcoming sellers. and some are for areas that I want to be more experienced in. So, like if I know, like for now, I have like a few upcoming listings. I mean, we're not listing tomorrow. We might be listing in a month or two. I'm out there looking at everything that comes up in near there now.
I love to hear
months
that.
Awesome.
before.
Yep.
Because,
Awesome.
I mean, I know we're in a crazy world now where maybe there's different scenarios, but normally I have been pretty successful meeting with appraisers when I've been in every house. I've been in all those houses. So they're just looking at pictures, but I can tell them what those
Well, that's
houses
my
You know, this
argument.
is-
Like Deborah, it's like you're speaking my words here. Like my argument with the appraiser all the time. They're like, well, I called and asked the listing agent about the house. And I'm like, and you think that that's a good opinion?
Like the picture's not showing you everything. You got to go in.
I
You gotta see all
completely
the-
agree that like the fact that the appraisal itself is judged by someone that hasn't been in the house.
Hold on. I know
I'm
that
sorry.
there's problems with everything,
Okay.
but we're trying to stick with the number of agents.
Yeah, yeah, I know. Okay, so let's not go down that road. But anyway, yes, looking at houses and also, you know, how about shadowing? How about shadowing? And I
That's
don't
what
know how that looks.
to me
I'm
that
not
you
gonna-
would.
I'm not going to solve this, but I'm just going to say, like, you know, how about shadowing a really experienced agent? How about we have a mentorship program?
Yeah.
Yep.
And
Maybe we call it
where
senior
agent
partner or
just
something like
shadows,
that. Yes.
You know, and shadows or, you know, whatever. You know what I mean, right?
Yeah. No, I like it. Thank
Okay.
you. All right. So I saw that Michael joined us. I saw Karina joined us. Guys, this conversation is about solving the problem of more agents than listed houses. In the first half of the episode that we talked about the numbers of agents versus the numbers of houses and how it is very skewed in Maricopa County
Right.
compared to the rest of
Over
the
the
country.
last 8 years, we've added for every house that we sell more a year, we add another agent.
One
And
for one.
One for one.
One for one. Yes.
Yes.
So in theory, none of the agents' businesses are growing, but obviously that's not the case.
Well, it's why
In
there's an
reality, that's not the case.
87% failure rate. Like, because it's pitched, hey, get your license, you know.
Yes.
Sorry about that.
That's okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to answer it. And so now we're talking about what the apprenticeship program could look like in order to, I don't know, not make it so simple for one of our past clients to get their license just to list their house.
It would not be just simple, yes, but also to have them achieve a level of service equivalent to what they're going to be able to get paid.
Yes.
So to me,
ding,
it's
ding, ding. Do we have sound effects yet, Adam? Ding, ding, ding. Yes.
right. So to me,
Achieve
because
the level
once
of
you go
service.
through 24, I was thinking originally 50 transactions, but as long as you go through 24, maybe 30 transactions, now you have, you know, I mean, one of my good friends is a doctor. And he has to become what? Like he goes through med school, which is 8 years. And then he goes through 2 of the last years after going through med school, he has to become
It's not an intern. It's a house. What's it called? Come on. Somebody out there knows. What's the doctor apprenticeship program called? I'm looking for unmuted microphone icons. Michael kind of looks like a doctor. Residency.
Hey,
Lena
yeah,
from
Lena.
the live studio audience
residency.
coming in now.
Yes. So I don't know what we'll call it.
Let's call it residency.
Let's call it agency. The agency training program.
I like residency works in
Okay,
real estate.
residency. Yes, right. Like to me, and you know why I was telling Rob Hahn that I liked his theory of the attorney model is because it would be paid by they would be paid, but it would be
Who?
like an employee.
Oh.
But see, the challenge is that the current model does not allow teams to have employees
Oh, right.
at the
So
state level
depending on
because they're
what
not
state-
recognized.
state
So
rules are,
once
yeah.
teams can get recognized at the state level, then they can have employees, but then they could train because the teams could train the people. Because the theory is I don't know
Oh,
if the
gosh.
brokers are going to be able to train the agents because now they're so far away from what like if we went to our brokerage to, you know, they're good at risk reduction and they're good at recruiting, but I don't know that their training is sufficient enough to.
Do you think that one of the causes of where we are now is the 100% commission brokerage?
Yes.
Because that meant that the the amount of money that the broker earns is so thin that they can't provide a level of support to the agents to get their service level high enough.
Yeah, it's called starving yourself.
And so now you have teams
Yes.
that have emerged at brokerages that we're gonna have to look to them in order to roll the apprenticeship program out.
I think
because there's a profitability there.
It's the only viable model because
But we have to change the laws at the state level so that teams can be recognized.
and we got to start talking about it. So like this is why let's get some other thoughts from maybe Karina or
yes, and if we band together,
yes,
then
we'll call
maybe
it leopard.
Let's call it leopard.
Yeah.
And then we can take leopard to the legislator and say, please recognize us.
Yes, right.
So that we can help improve the service level to the consumers.
I think you're there. Yeah,
I get
but
it.
let's get the studio audience to participate.
All right, Karina, welcome to the podcast. We appreciate you tuning in to our
What's your
live
thoughts?
studio audience. I'm allowing you time during my intro to find the unmute button because we're curious on your take of whether you think there's too many agents
And where you're from.
Where you're
Yeah,
from.
yeah.
Yes.
All right. There are too many, but many of them aren't actually working, I'm sure, full time.
True.
As far as where I'm from, what do you mean by that?
Where's your license hung?
Oh, okay. It's with Prestige Realty. And I
Prestige
work
Realty
mostly in the Northwest Valley.
in the Northwest Valley. Great. All right. So in the Phoenix marketplace.
Congratulations!
That's the market.
Thank you for joining us.
What do you think about the apprenticeship program?
I think
I'm
it's a good
sorry.
idea.
Realtor residency.
It's a good idea. My daughter just got her license a year ago. So, it is difficult for people starting out to learn. I think it is
One of the
helpful.
original teams out there is that situation. I think that's where teams got started, is when
That's
a husband and
true.
wife or a parent and child started working together. And then everything that Deborah brought up was achieved because there was shadowing that happened. There was an apprenticeship because they were living together.
Right, but then the introduction of the 100% brokerage, which then said no, you can be on your own, and that that
Yeah.
led to it's cheaper to have a license because now it's not as expensive because the old model that was the Remax model, which was the really executives model, it was more expensive. So it was
So they could
different.
provide more training.
Correct.
But then agents left because
No,
it was
no.
too expensive.
Well, but also because the brokers who were providing the training stopped selling houses, therefore the training become unviable. Is what I see what happened.
So Karina, what do you do to help bring your daughter up in this business?
Well, she's been with me since she was born, and showing.
We were gonna guess that. We were gonna guess that.
She's followed me around ever since she was probably 2 years old. She would go with me been around it for so long.
Right, and backwards.
I'm gonna go with that. That apprenticeship program might not be scalable.
Yeah. It's just funny. I mean, I don't know if she really enjoys it as much, though, honestly.
All right,
Now that she
fair.
has her license.
Well, it's a tougher environment today for people to get started due to the amount of competition.
Yeah, especially
very
in the
true.
valley.
I think it's unrecognized, and that's why I'm trying to raise the awareness of how 50,000 agents in Maricopa County with 4,000 houses to sell is creating a lot of frustration. We're still selling our houses, right? But
Yeah.
I feel bad for when we're getting new agents that are coming to EXP and they're
Looking for help.
They have an expectation that it's easy.
Oh,
Because-
we haven't even talked about that.
Okay, but
That's a good one.
because everybody's trying to just recruit more agents, because that's clearly how brokerages and the association model makes their money through the dues,
Yeah.
that they pitch it as easy. And then when they get here, so they're actually misleading the consumer that way as well. Because is it not? We talked
What
to
do you
James.
think? What do you think about that, Michael? I saw you unmuted your button as well. Thanks for joining us.
Yeah, actually, there's about 3 or 4 things in this. The first thing is that I would think after a year of only having 3,500 homes for sale without contracts, that supply and demand would have some of the excess agents kind of fall off anyway. But as far as hours, maybe there should be a number of sales a year. And if you fall below 5 sales a year, that demands more hours of class. The biggest problem with that is the classes are too basic. There's no, it's just, there's no upcoming, there's nothing to, one of the things out in Arizona is that you run into like a septic tank. How many people even know what you do with a septic tank? And that includes people who've been in real estate for 20 years in Phoenix. Very good,
Yeah, we got one
gentlemen.
that's backing up.
So
right
do you
now.
have to all right. So you guys know that you don't have to sign the waiver, right? The on-site waste waiver.
Oh, the on-site wastewater waiver. I don't know. I think we
We
signed
signed
it.
it.
Does
We
our
signed
broker
it.
require that?
Yeah, our broker requires
Okay.
it.
That's not required.
By our
And
broker?
and the
What
septic
brokerage are
tank
you
doesn't
with?
have to be. And this came from Real Estate Executive with HomeSmart.
Okay, so HomeSmart doesn't require
Okay,
the
so
on-site wastewater treatment addendum?
no. And most people think if you sign it, that means you have to fix it. You don't have to fix it. Even
Okay,
if
well,
it's
that's not
money
the debate
paid.
here.
No,
today.
he's bringing up a different argument, though.
Yeah.
He's bringing up how
No,
localized,
what I'm talking about is
how
correct.
localized real estate
we're
is.
talking about information that the newer classes, that the classes that are being taught are too basic. They don't give, there's nowhere for a person who's been in real estate for a year or two to upgrade what they've been taught.
I completely agree.
Okay.
Same page.
What else? He said a couple
You
things.
said
I
3.
had sales a year. I had basic classes. What else?
No, one was supply and demand of the homes versus agents. The other one was if you don't, and I have no idea what it would be, but if you don't put out more than 5 sales a year, that maybe instead of 30, maybe there's 40 or 50 hours worth of classes, but there's got to be some classes that are higher than basic training in order to get them to improve what they're running into.
Totally agree with that. I wonder if it's going to lead towards more like certification styles where how do you get to know about the septic issues, right? Like you could sell 12 houses in a year in the Valley and never run into a septic issue.
As long as you're not working in Rio Verde, Paradise Valley,
Agreed.
or the Northwest Valley. Yeah.
Phoenix.
Right. No, I'm on.
Oh, but at the same time,
I live in the middle of the
just an
city. I have a
example.
septic tank.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yep.
Well, you live in the magic zip code, so
That magic
get a
has nothing to do with septic. All right. Thank you, Mike, for
Hey,
participating.
36. Yeah, no problem.
Awesome. Nice. What kind of car is that
Does
in your
he
picture?
know? Does he have any? So your solution is the things that you laid out.
More class per. I like the idea of fewer transactions means more CE. I don't think that's a bad idea.
Yes.
That's like a simple one, actually.
Well, agreed. The apprenticeship was only about to handle the new people into the system. That is a system that will help out the people that are existing. Is once your sales flow, I think the number should be 12, because you should sell. If you're not selling one house a month, how can you really stay up on the changes in the industry and the changes? Like, to me, one house a month is not a lot, but I'm just like, because maybe you haven't listed. I mean, if you only sell one house a month and you have 5 buyers, like, you may not have been on a listing appointment in 6 months. I don't know that.
I got one for you, Seabach. So I heard that there was a bill at Congress to remove the independent contractor aspect of being a realtor and make all agents employees. Do you think that that's actually how we get here? What'd you say, Michael?
No, that's a whole different ballgame when you bring that up, because
Technically it
has
is. I agree.
very little to do with. Yeah.
You think that you don't think that if it went to an employee only model, we would have fewer agents?
Oh, absolutely. Because
I don't think it's a whole nother model. I think that it's
Well,
a whole nother solution to the same problem.
I didn't.
Oh
think,
no, I'm talking about improving the agent who's not producing, and versus if you just want to get rid of the agents, that would be the fastest way, because essentially what will happen is they'll get rid of all the employees, as many as they can. They'll hire all the people who are producing, which are mainly independent contractors, and they'll only take the top independent contractors that they want to pay for. That will leave about that will take out 80% of all
there's
the
your
realtors
80%
in
reduction,
town.
Seabach.
Well, to me though, I think though that
don't get me wrong. I'm not advocating for that. I'm just bringing it up because it's on the table right now.
it's going to create more brokerages as well, right? Like to me, I think the teams having a voice is because we're not. I don't know. We would be an EXP employee. Right?
I don't know. Like, dude, that brings up a whole bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
I just mean that
Oh,
it's
yeah.
interesting that that's on the table. And would that mean that we would have to become, would that be the resurgence of boutique brokerages instead of the 5,000, 50,000 agent shops?
No, I
Who
think
knows?
it's more likely that teams become a recognized entity in the world of real estate, and then teams because they're more. Because the problem is the brokers are too far away from the transaction. They don't actually, they're aware of the legal requirements, and our broker does a great job with that. But I don't know that our broker is going to have the help in new agent grow their business.
Right.
Like,
Yeah.
I just don't like, to me, it's the practitioner.
Yeah, but I think you're missing the picture when it comes to independent contractors. You're talking about companies now that have to carry, take care of taxes, health insurance, 401ks.
I have employees.
And there's probably.
I have employees.
Yeah,
that work for me.
they don't
I
do
carry
that.
401k. I have. No, I mean, I'm pretty firm on the understanding of that.
And we have
Oh, so
independent contractor
actually it
team
would be
members.
good for you. Actually, it'd probably be good for you because the rest of the people wouldn't be able to do 100% commissions.
Right.
And,
No,
which
I don't
means
know
that
that it would be.
which means that you don't pay for 100% commissions. Otherwise, you couldn't do what you do.
When did NAR go to the independent when did we get to the independent contractor realtor model? Was that in the 70s? How long have you had your license, Michael?
No, not long enough. About 17 years.
Okay. All right. Because I wonder if that is the root of it.
That allowed them to recruit more agents. And that's when the
Yes.
government exploded.
Yes.
It's called Parkinson's Law. Yeah, you mean that rule change.
Is why we're at where we're at.
Interesting.
But
No,
when you look at it like in Australia,
Yeah.
or I don't know why I keep bringing
yeah,
up
you
Australia.
love Australia.
Because they don't offer a co-broke the way that we do here. Like it's protected here. It's not there, is my understanding. And if we got rid of the co-broke, would that also, what do you think, Michael? If you got rid of the co-broke being offered on every listing, what do you think the agent count would do?
I'd have to bow on that one because I know why the independent contractor thing disappeared, and essentially didn't come from real estate. It came from the automotive, an automotive end. Essentially, none of the dealerships want to have employees.
Got it. Okay. Fair. They wanted more salespeople without the cost.
That's correct.
And so do brokers.
And there's hundreds of thousands of them. Yeah.
Yep. And there's millions of us. We jumped them.
Yeah.
All right. I know you got a hard stop today at 1:45.
Yeah,
Seabach.
but
so what do you want to wrap? Let's wrap this up. Give me my takeaway.
Well, so far I've not heard anyone disagree with the agent count. Is, well, how do we get everybody on one page so that we could raise this up to NAR to get them to stop trying? Like, to me, something has to change. I mean, it's why we came out with realestateleopard.com, is to lead this change. And I continue to hear a lot of people on our side, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yes.
it's exciting to know that we all agree that, but we have to push for change, but we need to band together.
All right. Realestateleopard.com is where we started. I mean, on this podcast, depending on how long you guys have been a listener, we announced the National Association of Real Estate Teams and Elite Performers and Elite Agents, if you will. And we are putting together a group of producers who don't necessarily have to be brokers, just so that we can get a voice, so that we can advocate for change that obviously affects us all.
We're just getting tired of not seeing change in the industry. Like, to me now, it's 8 years in a row they keep on printing new agents, and you constantly hear new lawsuits going out. There's obviously lots of challenges in our industry, but the ones that are leading are not working on the things of transparency and making a better experience for the consumer.
And that's
Right.
what this podcast is
That's what
about.
it's about.
Can I-
Yeah.
can I say something really quick?
Of
Sorry, to
course,
interrupt you.
Deborah, you get to interrupt and say whatever you want whenever.
Thank you, Phil.
Yes.
You know, I feel like there is change in the industry, Jeff, but it's not good change. So I think there's
Continue.
change. I think there's change because there's a lot of companies coming in and trying to disrupt the model, and make everything so that the consumer pays a lot less. And I'm not going to talk about cookies here, but I'm just saying, how about not necessarily trying to cheapen our value and say, oh, we can do it for this much and we can do it for this much.
Well,
But
Deborah,
how about like really, and I know you're saying this, but I'm just like raising the quality of the agents.
Yeah, the
so
weird
that we
thing
are worth it.
I appreciate very much what you're saying, but the weird thing is actually, if we lower the commission, it will decrease the agents. The problem is that the individual commission is too high for a new agent. That is what is the attraction to get everybody into the business.
That's where I started.
So it's actually the thing is the experienced agents have to realize that it's actually, if we charge less commission, then half of the agents wouldn't be able to survive. And then, we could put in our apprenticeship model, and then people that wanted to go through the model, it would keep it at a lower level.
Yeah, but go ahead, Deborah.
Well, I see that point because a lot of people see the amount that we make maybe on a transaction and they think, oh my gosh, easy money. Well, until they start doing it. And then of course you get I have like, how many people a week or a month or a year in my group of people I know. Oh, my husband just got his license. Oh, my sister just got his license. Oh, everybody just.
Well, here's the thing is the math that we use for the National Association of Teams is if it got down to 25,000 teams and they all did 250 transactions, we wouldn't need any more than what we have with the 25,000 teams. Like it would reduce the agent count by 75% because we don't need 1.4 million agents to sell 6
million houses.
Yeah.
I agree. But I want to say though, that if this industry provides an opportunity to make a good living, if you work hard and if you take it seriously and your first priority is the consumer, it'll all fall into place. But if the opportunity didn't provide an opportunity to make a good living, I don't know that I would do it. And I'm not doing it just for the money. I want to serve the clients, but we put up with a lot of crap and we work nights and weekends.
Well, actually, the changing environment is, and I got to run, but the changing environment is making it worse because now it used to be house, realtor, consumer, and now it's house, consumer, realtor. So it's actually the consumers are coming more armed with, and it's making it more frustration, which is why we need to change now.
Yeah. Yes. Well, I agree. A lot of stuff. This is a great conversation. I'll shut up now. Have a great day.
Well, share it with your friends. Like we gotta get this.
Deborah, go to realestateLeopard.com.
I just wrote that down. I will do that.
Awesome.
Okay,
Join
thanks.
us. Be a member. The yearly membership for an individual agent is
$49 a month.
$25 a month.
$25 a month.
$25 a month.
$25 a month to join our fight to change the industry. Go to realestateleopard.com. Thank you very much. Happy Thursday.
Bye.